Welcome to 10 Forward. Please have a seat. Madam Guinan will be with you shortly to take your order. We hope you enjoy tonight's show. Peace and long life to everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending another Monday edition of 10 Forward. And we are going to continue our talk on the MCU, Phase 1, Part 2. And Eris of Chaos, Jack Beers, you both were here the last time.
Yep.
So you guys had a lot of insight and a lot of perspective, and I appreciate it. And we just got a little cut off for time because I want to keep this at about an hour. And we stopped at Iron Man 2, and we realized we were going to and I felt like I was kind of half-assing it personally. I was about ready to half-ass Iron Man 2 when I think both Captain Jack and Eris here, you guys kind of brought up a lot of things that I was forgetting about. So, if you don't mind, Jack, ladies first, Eris of Chaos, give us your
So,
thoughts on picking back up from Iron Man 2. Now that we've established that, Robert Downey Jr. is, well,
mhm,
doing a good job with Iron Man, we've had
mhm.
the Incredible Hulk with, damn, why can't I remember his name?
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
Thank you, Edward Norton. Thank you. And then we get a sequel.
Right.
So, and we got was it Whiplash? Was that who that was?
Yes, he's
And
technically Whiplash. He's never called that in the movie. You actually have to look that up and figure that. Or if you know a little bit about Iron Man lore by that time, I'd kind of started to get into it. But yeah, it's Whiplash. Very, I don't know. It's a very like up and down movie. Not as bad as 3, in my opinion. We'll get to that later, but I have my personal reasons why I don't like 3. 2 is odd. I feel like there's really, really bright highlights and really, 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 really bad spots. You're just like, and I am sorry that someone apparently has a small penis outside my fucking window and is revving their
What?
engine like there is no tomorrow. So I am sorry for the noises that
one of those
you can
guys.
hear that. They've been doing that like since you hit live. So I don't know what's happening outside my window, but I apologize for that noise. So anyway,
Eris, it's okay. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. You're actually on a great point, but I kind of want to throw this out there. Hello, Purple Valkyrie, and Purple Valkyrie. If you want to come in and be the other half of the female perspective, you are welcome to come in. Let me know, and I will shoot you the link.
yeah, no
I
problem.
love having. I definitely like having an equal playing field.
I think it's an equal playing field, is it not?
Well, yeah. Well, let's see. One woman is equal to. Well,
Is
honestly,
it
I
that
think
like I'm
one woman is
teasing
equal
you?
to 4 or 5 men
No,
easily.
no, dude, I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. It's 2020, right?
Oh yeah, I'm teasing you too. I'm just
Okay,
having fun.
I was like, oh no, don't take me
Okay,
serious.
Ambassador, great. You come in when you got time, buddy.
Yeah.
And Boss Man's around.
What's up,
Stone
Loki?
Loki, how you doing, buddy? It was great to hang out with you over the weekend periodically. So, Eris of Chaos, go ahead
Yes,
and keep going with that. You felt there was
really bright
hits and
highlights.
misses.
Yes.
Where do you think where do you think the hits were and the misses?
I mean, honestly, this is kind of just a consistent thing throughout the Iron Man franchise, and just the character in general. Robert Downey Jr. hits it out of the park every single time. He is that character. He embodies him. He from we kind of all know about his how he was in the past and how he recuperated and kind of rose in like a phoenix like manner, like no one like I haven't seen an actor do in either a while or ever. It is what he went from and what he is now is like night and day. And I think that he brought a lot of that to the table with uh, portraying Tony Stark. So anytime he's on the screen being Tony Stark, it's generally a highlight just because he's so good at it. Um, I think Don Cheadle coming in as Rhodey, everyone, when an actor is replaced in the middle of a franchise, I feel like everyone kind of judges them pretty harshly on the outset. I think he knocked it out of the park as War Machine and Rhodey. I think he and Robert Downey Jr. had amazing chemistry, and I believe they were friends the entire time. Let me see. Some of the villain was, in my opinion, one of the really, really low parts of the movie, which is a bummer because a villain is such a key part of a great superhero movie. You need a good villain. And I just didn't get, I got a little, he was goofy. I didn't really ever take him seriously. He never seemed like a real threat. You know, he seemed like he could be replaced by anybody and whatever. And I'm not talking about Whiplash, because Whiplash, which I believe should have probably been the main villain and was introduced at the beginning of the movie as potentially the main villain, got sidelined by, what is his name? Hammer, whatever.
Hammer.
Hammer,
Oh,
yeah.
thank God. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt you there,
Yeah,
Eris,
you're
to
good.
convince me because I'm like, once I was like, I'm like, man, she's really being hard on Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, and then you read, and then once I realized you said you're not talking about Whiplash, I was like, oh, now I
No,
know what the
he
hell
was
she's talking about,
good.
and it makes
Yeah.
so much more
No,
sense.
he's really good as Whiplash. I would have loved to have seen more of him. I think it's really kind of frustrating to have had him as kind of a sideline character and even kind of made a little bit fun of during it because at the expense of like the main villain. When I didn't believe the main villain had any sort of, I wasn't afraid of him. Like I should be worried about what the villain's going to do. Uh, um, oh wow, I just blanked out. Villain from the first Iron Man.
Um,
I'm remembering the actor's name, but I'm not remembering. Is it Josiah Stone? Is that his
I just
name, right?
remember
Obadiah's.
Oh,
Obadiah.
by
Yeah.
Obadiah's.
okay. Oh, by okay. He brought it. Okay, I believed that guy was gonna like fuck some shit up. Okay, I believe that
Because
100%.
that was Jeff Bridges, right?
Yeah,
Oh, he
exactly.
was so
Oh
good.
my God.
But like, I didn't believe that this little dude, was just, it's like you could have replaced him with almost anybody. He didn't have a distinguishing, villain personality. He didn't bring it at all. It was Whiplash had like, man, he had a reason to go after Tony. He had a reason to stride to want to not just confront him but kill him because there was motivation and it was just he's just a joke. I don't care about this guy. He's just a joke. And another highlight I have to say was Tony and Pepper getting together. I have my reservations about Gwyneth Paltrow as a human being, but I set those aside because I think she rocked it as Pepper. So it's just like I really liked them getting together because that's just I like a little romance. But I think those were like the main highlights. But the main downsides, the really things I have a problem with, was Hammer being not a convincing villain at all. So that's kind of yeah, that's kind of where I come from. My general summary of the movie and my opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually Eris, I'm gonna kind of hit up on here is Purple Valkyrie I agree with. It is a shame because Sam Rockwell is a great actor, but I think we all need to remember an actor can only do so much. You got
Yeah.
writing, directing, and there's so many other parts. And sometimes I think we put way too much on what the actor does. Is like the actor doesn't see the whole movie
Mm-mm.
until literally what shortly before the rest of us do. So when they
Yeah.
do their
The
parts
premiere.
and they do their role,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what parts of the movie
Yeah, they're busy.
I yeah, I'm
They're
actually
busy
going to
on
give an
script.
example. I'm going to give unfortunately kind of a depressing example. Does anybody remember the Bruce Willis movie with Colin Farrell called Heart's War?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, well, anyway, there's a reason why it wasn't that great of a movie, but it was there and it was a war movie. It was a World War II war movie. And what I found out later was that young kid from the series, Sequest DSV, he was the young one. He was the one he was a genius, and his career kind of spiraled, and this was supposed to be something that was supposed to bring him back into the limelight, and every scene he was apparently in was cut, and shortly after that, the unfortunately the young gentleman killed himself. So
Oh, that's really
Jeez.
that's awful.
it
I,
is, and
Reminds me of the guy who played the old Superman show from the 50s. George Reeves, I believe his name is George Reeves.
yeah, George Reeves from the original Superman era. Well, not the original. Well, yeah, the original TV series, because before that it was the serialized.
Yeah, and he was typecast as Superman after that, and he couldn't find legitimate work after that apparently, and he
No, no,
committed
no, no,
suicide.
no, no, no. Sorry, Jack. I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off here.
Okay.
That is 100% bollocks. No, he was actually they had just renewed the series for another season. And one of the final scenes of him alive was old family reel of him in a gi doing somersaults and stuff.
Right.
Or doing, yeah. And he was excited and everything. He looked happy. That's why there's always been that conspiracy of, did he really commit suicide, or did he was he murdered? Because he actually had signed up and got approved for another season. So it wasn't that he was typecast; he was actually embodying that character, and he loved it, and he was, the stories I've seen and everything, he really loved being that character, and he was excited about the future of playing another season as Superman.
Okay. Well, I mean, well, either way, he says that he committed suicide. So you know, but yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
Loki's saying that a lot of things pointed to murder. I've never heard
Yeah,
about this.
There's a
well,
movie about that. There's a movie that talks about that called Hollywoodland. And it actually, if I remember right, it actually has not the reel, but it has Ben Affleck's version of that reel that you're talking about. Um, yeah,
no, he's right. Loki is right. The George Reeves death was there's been, it's one of those conspiracy theories that people have been trying to figure out for a long time. And I'm gonna agree with Loki on this one. Yeah, everything I've seen and all the stuff I watched over the last 20 years that deals with the whole George Reason, eh, I'm going with foul play. I
I,
don't
I,
know
well,
if that
I don't
means,
from
know.
what I mean with that is, I'm not saying it was a murder, but I think at least it was some kind of cover up. That's my theory. I have nothing to go off of that.
yeah, like
And we got.
everything I know about it has to do with the movie. So who knows? I could be completely wrong about it.
Oh, I've never even heard
No,
about it
that's
till today.
okay.
So,
No, there's definitely nothing wrong. One of the things, one of the things I actually thought was interesting about Iron Man 2 was, I quite generally really enjoyed it. I liked how his suit got an evolution. He had
mhm.
learned how to, enhance his thing. He's we start to realize he is really smart, because he can speak multiple languages. We already
He
know his
creates a new
math
element.
skills. Yeah, but and then we
just
always
like
and then
Loki. Just like,
what?
yeah, new element. There you go. Science. It's like, oh, okay. They really do skip by that in the movie. That's like insane. That's
They do.
huge. That's
I wish
crazy.
I wish they put spent more time on that actually. But yeah, you're right. They did the same thing in Endgame with time travel.
Oh, don't get me started on Endgame. We'll have to focus it on Endgame.
We'll get to Endgame
Yeah.
Eris
Yep.
You will.
Oh God.
some point in the future.
Yeah.
We have the man who has always been here, the ambassador.
So
Hey guys, good and ladies, good to see you.
lady, not
That's what I
lady.
said. That's what I said, lady.
Oh, I think you said ladies. I was just like, who else here is identifying as a woman today?
No, lady, singular.
Joking, ambassador.
I know.
Teasing you again, ambassador. It's okay. I'm just playing. It's all good.
So when we think about it, I understand this was considered one of the weaker ones, and I just don't necessarily agree because I'm gonna say some of the
Neither do
things I
I.
really liked.
Hmm.
I Can I speak of my own channel, ambassador?
What? He didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, I did. I'm just messing with him. I heard
All right. I was like,
I heard
hold
I
on,
heard a little
boys.
spark. I was okay. That was me trying to be funny, and that turned into a really not fun joke. So I
All right.
apologize for that, everybody.
Moving forward. Behave, everyone.
I actually quite enjoy even though which I'm just gonna say this. The chances of me and an actor or actress having the same political views are pretty much about 98% impossible when it comes to politics. I try my damnedest to keep that out of my opinion of watching something because I'm not a fan of the whole boycott thing just because somebody has a different political opinion than me, and I don't like that shit. So whereas Don Cheadle has
Don
completely
Cheadle.
probably Don Cheadle. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
He has completely opposite views than I have. The man is a killer actor. He is it's like me with Samuel L. Jackson. Guy's in my mind a left-wing nut job, but dude, he can act like, oh my god, you just want to love watching him. You just want to hear, oh, Samuel Jackson? Okay, I'll come in. Don Cheadle? Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot because they're really good at their craft. So while I may, of course, disagree with political aspects, I can at least appreciate their work. And I think that's something that really bothers me with people is they say, well, boycott this because of this, or boycott this actor. It's like, well, do you like it? Well, yeah, I like the actor, but he supports this. I'm like, do you still like his acting?
Hey, Jesse, can I
Yeah,
interrupt you
then,
for a brief second? Ambassador,
yeah,
can you
go
please
ahead.
stop smacking in my ear? Thank you. I would appreciate that. I'm just hearing smacking coming from you, and it's kind of bothering me. And I would just appreciate it if you would stop. Thank you. Oh, shit. I was just trying to be nice.
Oh, okay. I was sorry. I was having I just caught what you were talking about.
No, he was just smacking in my ear, and it was bothering me. I didn't know if it was bothering anyone
No,
else.
no, no. I
I didn't mean to. I
understand.
didn't mean to nuke him off the planet or get him to
No, no,
leave.
no. I did not kick him off.
No. I didn't say you. I didn't mean for him to leave. I was just like, please stop
No, no, no.
smacking in my ear. That was. What is said that to anybody?
Yosef, how you doing, buddy? That wasn't actually the one I was gonna click on. Yeah, we really haven't would talk about Iron Man 2. We really haven't ever talked about
Oh, Black Widow.
Scarlett Johansson's role.
Oh hell yeah! Sorry, she's a highlight too. Goddamn, that's my favorite haircut on Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. By the way, but yes. Anyway, continuing.
No. Go ahead. No. I agree. That's why I brought it up, as I realized I was about ready to say let's transition on to Thor, but now I realize we haven't even talked about Scarlett Johansson as
We,
Black
we,
Widow, and
we
as far
did
as
last
I'm
week,
concerned,
Yeah.
but
that's
it, yeah, we touched. I don't know if we finished everything we wanted to say about it, but we did touch on it at least.
okay. Well, Eris, do you think we touched on it enough? I'm sorry if
Um,
if
no, I mean, I think we like did exactly what we did last time, and we were like, oh yeah, there, Charlotte. It's like I don't know why we forget Black Widow's in it. She's like one of the bigger characters in
She's the
it.
greatest. She's like one of the better parts of the movie. I mean, like just
Yeah.
introducing her character, and then slowly learning who she is, throughout the movie, and all that. It was good.
I would say this when it comes to Black Widow, I love that Scarlett Johansson was very both feminine, comfortable in her sexuality, and then out of nowhere we get to see her be an actual ass kicker.
She's a badass.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
That scissor thing she does with like the
Yes.
scissor
Yeah.
kick.
That's kind of like her signature move now in most MCU movies.
Yeah,
But her story arc starts there, and where it ends, it's just in my mind very powerful, and we'll get to that in some time in the future. But just she starts here, and I agree. We've got to talk about Scarlett Johansson's portrayal of Black Widow, because she really embodied a character that was, at the time created. She was created as a, people want to say Russian spy. No, she was a Soviet spy. And that's very different because of the time her character was created. But if you've ever read the early comics of the Avengers, her and Hawkeye were actually brought in as the second, kind of the second wave of the Avengers after several other ones left. And her and Hawkeye really formed a relationship. And it was nice that, they had enough sense to incorporate some aspects of that into both, eventually into Avengers. And I'm sorry, I know I'm getting ahead of myself there. But, it makes Black Widow's character make a lot more sense.
I really wish I knew what happened in Budapest.
Oh, you and all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to know what happened in Budapest.
Yeah, and they've been hyping it up so much. I'm almost worried that it's going to be super lame at this point, like because they've been hyping it.
After learning how Nick Fury lost his eye, yeah, I'm afraid of
Yeah,
that too.
right. Exactly my point. Yep.
We're not talking about that movie yet.
Yeah, I know, but it's the same thing. Like in Civil War, they hype them up. Or no, it's Winter Soldier, isn't it? It's Winter Soldier, and it's like, well, this stupid, big speech he does, and it's like, little cat scratched me. Oh, an alien cat, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, what happened in Budapest? Do I even want to know? Because I think my imagination at this point is going to give me a better story of what happened in Budapest. And I am worried. Phase 4 looks troubling in the MCU. So
Well,
I
Eris,
know we'll
we'll
get
get
to
to
that.
that when.
I know.
No.
Sorry.
What I'm saying is, we'll get to that, and we'll talk about what our
Mm-hmm.
predictions are and everything.
Yes.
But we're gonna get our hits and misses. There's unfortunately no way around that. We're gonna like certain things, not like certain things. Some of us are gonna like certain movies and less like other movies. I'm kind of I guess the best way I can say it is I'm an overall kind of person when it comes to a story. If I like the overall story, I can probably work past the flaws, but if I don't, then nothing on this planet is going to change my opinion on how much I hate something because I'm one of the harshest I mean, I'm one of the harshest critics on anything I do. That's why I don't write. But
Hmm.
I mean, getting back to the story here, we really had a great an extension in the MCU. We got literally, Don Cheadle, when he came in, was like Brody, and they made the comment, where he comes in and says, "It's me, I'm here, deal with it." I think was how it went. But it was kind of like almost like, yeah, deal with it. They changed the cast member, deal with that. And, the dude is awesome. I love him. I've loved everything I've ever seen him in, as opposed to the guy who played Brody the first time, who I honestly don't remember anything of him in. So, sometimes name recognition may be great, but for someone like me, facial recognition is actually really where I work.
Hmm.
But let's do you guys have any final things you want to say about Iron Man 2 before we transition into Thor?
Jack, did you actually get a chance to talk about it? Jack, can you hear me?
Well, I talked a lot about it last time.
Oh,
So,
right, yeah.
yeah, most of everything I had to say about it, I've already said.
Okay. All right. I slept since last time. I don't know what was talked
It's
about
fine.
last time. I should actually probably skim those before I come on here, so we don't have one of these moments.
It's okay.
Sorry.
No, you're okay, Eris. It's totally fine. I could skim plenty of things, but I'm not necessarily going to remember everything either. But I'm going to be honest when it comes to, transitioning into the movie Thor. I'm going to be honest. I actually think this was the bigger risk. And I
Hmm.
say this because hear me out here. Let's go back to Iron Man. We had Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Bridges, um what was her name?
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yes, Gwyneth Paltrow. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and
So
Agent
we had
Coulson, which we also forgot from Iron Man 1. Yeah, that's.
but
Yeah.
he was not an established person back then as far as A-list actors. We're talking about three we're talking about Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges at
Hmm.
the time was still an A-list actor.
Yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow was an A-list actor at the time. Robert Downey Jr. was a guy who we all knew was an A-list actor who went to shit, got drugs, went to jail and everything, and they put him in the movie. And they took as I said, Marvel had when I said in the first episode of this, Marvel had a really hard time. They didn't have their A cards. They didn't have any X-Men. They didn't have Spider-Man, which are the only the X-Men and Spider-Man are pretty much the equivalent to Batman and Superman when it comes to DC. There's very few A-list characters. And we've seen the other A-list characters in DC show up. This was not the first time we've seen, well, let's be honest, B, C-list characters. We got the X-Men series from Fox because the license had been sold there. We got Sony with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, and then the I don't know what you call those other two episodes.
Andrew Garfield ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mistakes?
Nobody's ever. No, go ahead, Eris.
Oh no, I said mistakes. That's what you call them.
Oh, I would call them mistakes too.
Yeah.
But we have those, and then we had, Fox had the Fantastic Four, and they gave us two Fantastic Four movies, and I'm trying to keep it in the timeline of when we got the DC, not the DC shit, the MCU. Everything was always very separate. Whereas here, they were saying we're gonna connect movies. Now, I don't know if the rest of you all had a kind of a brain fart, but I was like, how the fuck are you gonna do this shit? And okay, we get, and this is where I'm getting to. We get Iron Man. Okay, we know who Robert Downey Jr. is. We know who Jeff Bridges is. We know who Gwyneth Paltrow is. So, we have several people that are very on the A-list area. And Robert Downey Jr. is trying to rebound his career, which I think really kind of scared a shit ton of us. Because I can't speak for the rest of you, Eris or Captain Jack, but I'm going to tell you this. Knowing what he went through, and I'm like, wait a minute. You're going to put a guy who is supposed to be a recovering drug addict as Iron Man, who in the 70s had to deal with an alcohol problem. Sorry if that was a little hard for me as a comic book fan to be like, okay. But you know what? He sold me on it. They sold us. And then we get, the Incredible Hulk. And it's like, okay, I've seen American History X. I've seen a lot of things with Edward Norton. I mean, I know that man has range. And then we get Iron Man 2, which has, Gwyneth Paltrow, Mickey Rourke and all that. And the one guy who played Hammer, I know somebody said his name and I missed it.
It was Sam. Purple said it.
Yeah,
right?
Sam.
Oh, where is it? Sam Rockwell. Yeah, that was purple.
Sam Rockwell, and he is very funny. So that's where I go with it's a good movie in my opinion, but yeah, I understand there were missteps. But then we get to Thor. And I kind of want to put this because I did some research and I found out Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, or actually, let me rephrase that. Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor all took place within a week of each other, according to the canon timeline I was trying to look up with this. So, okay, that makes sense because, Coulson left to go find that, he found the hammer,
Mew
which
Mew.
was Mjolnir. Yeah, he found Mjolnir. So we get to, but well, here's the thing, and you guys in the chat and everybody can correct me on this. When it comes to this point, I'm like, okay, I know a lot of the characters who were there beforehand. And then we get to Thor. And it's okay. I definitely know the guy who played Hannibal.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, I know Anthony Hopkins. I know, oh gosh, dang it. I'm trying to remember her name from Lethal Weapon 3 and 4.
You talking about Natalie Portman? The
No,
girl who
not
plays
Natalie
Darcy?
Portman. No.
Are you talking about Sif?
No, I'm not talking about Lady Sif. No, I'm talking about who played Thor's mother.
Frigga?
Yeah, Frigga, but I've seen her in a lot of things
Frigga.
other than that. I'm
Oh,
just
hold
drawing a
on.
blank on her name.
Renee Russo? Renee Russo? Is
Oh,
that it?
Renee Russo. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, so there was those, for someone like me, there were names that I recognized. But when it came to Chris Hemsworth and even Tom Hiddleston, it was I had never really known anything about them. The only time I really knew anything about Tom Hiddleston, not Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth
Mhm.
was when he was playing George Kirk.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's
I was
kind
going
of
to
a
bring that
weird.
up.
Yep, that's a weird thing to go back and watch. Be like, oh, look, Thor's command is Kirk's is Jim James T. Key. I will get his name right one day. James T. Kirk's father. That's a weird crossover, right? And
Yes.
that'd be a really
Yeah,
awesome. That'd be an awesome crossover.
not only that, you want to talk about crossovers, understand. Uh, James C. Kirk's father got it on with Padme Amidala Skywalker. Talk about screwing with people's heads in the
Yeah. Well,
geek
what's
community.
also funny is the fact that his father died in the way that the 2009 Star Trek movie starts is it's considered a lightning storm in space is the phenomenon they describe that as. So the fact that he became Thor is kind of just, in my opinion, amusing. It's little things like that you go back and watch. You're like, oh yeah, it's kind of this.
No, I agree. And, but what I was saying was, when you look at this is kind of where I want to say, in my mind, I know that The Incredible Hulk didn't make the bank any of the other ones did. In fact, I think it is the lowest grossing on the MCU scale. But, it had recognizable actors. And so did Iron Man. We had people who'd been around. And this is where I say they took their risk with Thor with Chris Hemsworth. I mean,
Mhm.
like I said, most of us, at least me, I only knew him from uh the 2009 Star Trek. I had never seen him in anything. I didn't see him in oh shit, what was it? Cabin by the Woods?
Oh, Cabin in the Woods. Oh yeah,
Cabin in the Woods, yeah. I
he
didn't
plays
see
with
that
Jock.
until, of course,
Yeah,
it came out on DVD, which was way years before, a lot of this other stuff. It was one of those unfortunate gems that got shelved.
right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, it was like, he's very arrogant, but he has a very interesting aspect. He's arrogant, but he's loyal and he's also protective. And fortunately, despite whatever age he really is, even though he's protective and, trying to do the best he can, he's so immature, and that's what causes him to get exiled. And that's my thought on the initial thought of Thor. Eris, give me your
Mm.
thoughts, and then Jack, give me your thoughts.
Okay, so I have to say this was my introduction to the MCU at the time. I think I talked about this last time, but Thor was the one I saw in theaters first. Because of Anthony Hopkins. And it was just, I was like, hey, Anthony Hopkins in this movie. It's a superhero movie. It's like, okay, cool, I'll go to it, whatever. Not really know anything about it, but because that was really my introduction, really and true introduction to Marvel. I mean, I'd seen Fantastic Four and the X-Men movies, but it really was kind of just like, meh, whatever. But it was pretty phenomenal. I became a really big fan of Tom Hiddleston after that, actually. And as anybody who knows me knows, I'm a
Same.
big fan of Loki as well as a character, because I think he's probably, especially after Endgame, the best MCU villain that to date. Because they ruined Thanos in Endgame. But I think that his character arc was not what I wanted it to be, but beautiful nonetheless. And how he came about, just slowly revealing him being a villain. His performance, especially in that scene with him and Anthony Hopkins as Odin, before Odin goes into Odin's sleep, it sold me as the actor. I go back and I look at I did research on it like a while back when I of course got into this, and I found out that apparently, and this is funny, and oh man, who would have known that Loki would be a little salty over Thor? I would not have guessed that. But apparently, Tom Hiddleston, and you can find this on YouTube, he initially came to the auditions for Thor. And you can find this video of him auditioning for Thor, and it's hilarious. Because he sticks a little blonde wig on him, and he's like, yeah, it's the Thor, it's the hammer. It's hilarious. And they saw him, and they were just like, no. But how about you want to play this role, Loki? And it's just that happenstance, right? That kind of on a whim going to the audition and not even getting the character that you auditioned for, but then being chosen to play Loki, kind of just not even really on a whim, but kind of just like, oh, you seem like you would fit that more, like a chance. Like they did take a chance on him because he's less known than Chris Hemsworth, and definitely less known than Natalie Portman or Anthony Hopkins at that point. And he'll always be Loki. I don't care if he hates that role. I don't care for what he does for the rest of his career as an actor. He is known as Loki. That is his character. So it just, for me at least, it was kind of this introduction of even my love for Norse mythology. Like I could talk about this movie for hours because it's so phenomenal and had such an impact on my life.
We don't have hours, but
I
we've
know.
got.
I know. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, hold on a second. We got 17 minutes until we hit an hour.
I know.
If we don't get to Captain America: The First Adventure, we don't do it. You keep going.
We're not.
I don't want you, other than just saying I'm going to cut this off around an hour time frame. We can keep talking about this movie because I want to hear this kind of stuff, and I think people should hear it.
Yeah, it had a huge impact on my life. So I always kind of love it. It's like I came for Anthony Hopkins, stayed for Tom Hiddleston type of thing. It got me hooked into the MCU, which obviously kind of had like a domino effect on things that I saw, things that I now know because of that movie. I think Odin was an absolute asshole. Like the way that he went about, it's like, seriously, like you're not going to tell your adopted child that you were never intending on giving the throne to, that he didn't have a shot. And you let him hope, because apparently in Infinity War, Thor states that he is 1,500 years old. So you got to think. So like for over 1,000 years, you let Loki think that he had a shot at the throne. Like that's fucked up. I think that would do a really big number to someone's psyche, especially discovering they are, as he puts it, the monster that parents tell their children at night to be wary of. It's holy hell. It breaks him. It really does. It breaks him. And he's just, it also creates a loose end that they don't exactly resolve, I think, in the MCU, is Jotunheim's kind of severely fucked up from the Bifrost, just being aimed at it. And they don't really ever go back and be like, hey, like, because of us, we kind of destroyed your planet by accident because, like, Loki was kind of at that point having an identity crisis and wanted to destroy everything because of that. Maybe, maybe just maybe you go help them. Like, I feel like that would have been a good thing to kind of go into. Um, the differences even in the color schemes of the costumes, right? Loki is gray, not gray, it's green, black, and gold, whereas Thor is, like red and silver is really what he wears. There's just contrasts like that. How even the scene when Thor and Odin are facing off, and it's just like how
No
Anthony Hopkins
worries
does it.
there. Clobber times.
Sorry, I'm fangirling and I'm just
No,
going on and on.
Eris, Eris. No, keep going. You're really trust me, you got two guys here very spellbound, and I think you've got the chat spellbound, so
Okay,
keep
all right,
going.
exactly. All right, so another thing that I did find out was a behind the scenes thing of the scene with Thor and Odin at the Bifrost, right? Before he sends him down to Midgard/Earth. That scene, they like reshot that quite a few times, and the last take is the one that we actually see in the movie. It was kind of like they were asking Anthony Hopkins to portray different emotions, and it's like I don't even know how any other way could have been portrayed because of how he looks at Thor. He's angry, he's disappointed, he's heartbroken, but he has to keep that strong front on because he's fucking Odin. He can't drop that and become like, the heartbroken father. He has to keep that strong front because he is the king, the ruler of all of Asgard. He has to keep that. And even though it's just him on the Bifrost with them, it's still that, duty above how I really want to feel. And you see that even in the Odin, when he's in Odin's sleep, and he just, that little tear that goes by when he realizes what's happening with Loki. At least it's man.
Well, think about this, Eris, too. When Thor goes in there and he's this is when we get our Hawkeye cameo, when he says I'm starting to root for
Oh
this guy
yeah.
because he's kicking ass, and Thor is just doing what he does, but then that moment with the lightning, I mean the lighting and everything, the lightning, and he's trying to pick up Mjolnir and he can't pick it up, and it's like he realizes he's not worthy. That was so devastating for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it really played into it. And it really played into quite a bit later in, well, Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers, a little bit later, and we'll get to that. But I mean, the whole thing is like he thought the hammer was his, and then when it realized he wasn't worthy, it it damn near broke him. It wasn't about the fact that he lost his godhood or
Mm-hmm.
demigodhood
Just like he
or
lost his
strength.
friend. It was like he lost
He
his friend.
lost his, yeah, no, exactly, yes. He lost, you know, well, I don't know about friend, but he
It was
lost
how he
what he thought
reacted.
was a piece of him that he'd been so used to, and now was like he was being rejected by it. Eris, actually, that makes total sense now. He was rejected by his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that
He was
okay.
rejected by
I'm
his
I'm
kingdom,
now
his
speechless because
father,
I've
his
never heard that
brother, his
before.
friend. Like it's like everything. It's like he was rejected by his kingdom. He was rejected by like the only home he'd ever known, his father, his brother, and his friend. Everything. He lost it was like that was the final thing in that moment. It was the only thing that was driving him. If I can just get to the hammer, I will be okay. Everything will be okay. And when he walks up and it won't react to him, it's like he's lost. And that's when you really see that he lost hope, he lost faith in everything, and he was a lost man. He didn't know what to do. Everything he had lost everything in that moment, and the only thing that was keeping him going rejected him as well. It's a moment where Thor feels alone for the first time in his life.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. We are 50 some
Sorry,
minutes
Jack.
in. And I know no. I am like we are 50 minutes in. I know I said to give this an hour, but and we might make it to Captain America, but I don't know. Captain Jack, I mean I know this is my stream, but I'm gonna say this. I think I'm gonna cut it here because I think Eris Chaos just gave
I
us
don't know
the
how I can
best.
follow that up, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
exactly. I don't either.
Sorry.
No, I don't either. No, Eris, I don't have anything to follow up with that. I'm gonna have to wait till next week. But oh my goodness, you really gave us a lot to think about with that.
And you
The way
pointed
you
out
said,
everything I wanted to say. So, I mean, yeah, you covered it. It's good.
yeah, I'm actually, folks, I'm gonna cut it off a little bit early. I hope you all had a good night. Cam Jack Beers, do you have anything coming up this besides
Um,
Friday with me?
well, I'll be live streaming Lower Decks again, or not live streaming, live tweeting Lower Decks again on Thursday morning sometime, and yeah,
And
I'll
then
be
you'll
with
be
you on
with me
Friday.
on Friday, and we're
Or
gonna
is that
have some
Saturday
fun.
now? I think we moved it to Saturdays.
Oh, that's right. We did move it to
Yes,
Saturday. Oh, good point. Thank you for reminding me. I apologize for that.
I am at way too much beer on Twitter.
And if you're not following him on Twitter, you're wrong. This guy is one of the most fun people I ever see. And that's how I found him. Eris Chaos, do you have anything coming up?
Well,
I'm pretty sure you do.
yeah, well, weather permitting, I will have a stream on Wednesday. Like, let's just hope and pray that because I live in Southeast Texas, so yeah, Marco is kind of going
Stay
to be
safe.
knocking. Yeah, thank you. Marco is going to be knocking on my door on Wednesday. So weather permitting, like I said, I should have a stream on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then my usual stream on Saturday, probably at 2 p.m. Unless something else happens, like last week. Last week I didn't advertise enough last week for the change in my schedule, but I will try to do better if something does change this week. But if not, it should be 6 p.m. Wednesday Central Time, and then 2 p.m. Saturday Central Time. Again, weather permitting. Thank y'all
You
so
know
much
what?
for. Thank you.
I'm gonna end out here. Friday, Jack Beers hopefully will be able to have time to come in. We're gonna talk episode 4 of Star
Saturday.
Trek Lower Decks because
Oof.
despite the fact that we hate the fucking show, we are really enjoying talking about it together. So we hope you all come in and enjoy it. Uh, I'm gonna answer this. Eris is awesome. Clobber times. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hit it up with this. Brilliantly said, Eris of Chaos. I'm gonna pull a little. I'm gonna pull a little show. That you might all know. Yeah, goddamn right.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much.
I thank you, Jack Beers, Eris of Chaos, Loki, Purple Valkyrie, Mandomark, everybody who came in, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate my awesome panelists coming in. And we're gonna pick back up. We're gonna pick back up with Captain America on Monday because I think unless you guys disagree and we can adjust. I think we kind of hit Thor up enough.
I could go on if you want.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh no! Hey, Eris, no, Eris, that's okay. If you want to go on a Monday and you want to continue talking, that's fine. I want to kind of keep the Avengers as.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. It's going good.
I'm too old for this. All right, everybody in the chat, everybody in the panel, thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming in. Peace and long life. Live long and prosper.
Bye.